Welcome. Today we're talking with Stephanie Coleman. Again, she is a principal at the Workforce Advisory Financial Services practice at EY. Steph, welcome back, and thank you for joining us at today's Banker Digest.
Thanks, Larry. It's so great to be back here for a second time. Very excited.
Great. All right. Well, good. Well, Stephanie, by many measures, the opportunities for women in the workplace have improved. Even with that, what can leaders in banking at all levels do to improve how their organizations develop their diverse talent?
Thanks, Larry. It's a great question, and I agree with you. There's been a good amount of progress that has been made around building more diversity within the banking workforce. However, as is the case with most things, there is always room for improvement. So a couple of thoughts here. The first is to be very intentional around trying to advance gender diversity within the workforce. These things don't happen by accident. It takes a lot of focus and commitment and hard work. Specifically speaking, a couple of examples can include finding stretch assignments and providing those to diverse talent so they're able to really demonstrate their competence in ways that they may not have had the opportunity to before. It can also include providing diverse talent with a platform. And what we mean by platform, that could be access to resources. It could be access to capacity. It could be assigning them some budget. It could be giving them access to a network and so on as well.
Mm-hmm.
A third area is really around advocacy. So when you see a high performing or high potential diverse talent, tell people, tell everyone what you see. And all of the kind of potential connected to that talent and how great they are, because advocacy is so important in building a personal brand. And then finally, really thinking about diverse talent and the formal opportunities that are out there to help them advance their careers. So this could be involvement in selective talent programs like leadership development programs. It could be inclusion of diverse talent within succession plans. And things like that, recommending them to join affinity groups and so on. So really thinking about the resources that are available in the company, many of which are there to advance diverse talent, and then formally recommending or supporting participation in those programs amongst your diverse workers.
Great. Thank you, Steph. Additionally, without relying on bank-wide talent development programs, of which there are many, what can bank leaders do to improve talent development?
Yeah, I think we've already hit on a good number of these already in the prior question, but one area of opportunity that I will highlight is really thinking through the operating model and the way that work is assigned across the team. So in any team, there is going to be premier, exciting, high visibility work that captures the attention of the executives and senior leadership within the bank. And it is really important to make sure that that kind of work is allocated fairly across the team and also assigned to diverse workers as well. So, I think if you think about the downstream impacts of that, when you've got, the biggest deals, for example, or the most high net worth clients, if diverse talent are not getting the opportunity to work on some of the work connected to those opportunities, it doesn't necessarily lead to the best performance management outcomes. It doesn't necessarily lead to the best bonus outcomes. It doesn't necessarily lead to the best progression and promotion and so on as well. So there is great opportunity to sort of think through the way that work is assigned across the team and making sure that diverse candidates are getting good access to the premier assignments as well.
Great. Thank you. It's often recommended in discussions about talent development that leaders perform the role of being a mentor. So what is the difference between a mentor and a sponsor, and why is it important for bank leaders to be both?
They're both really important roles, but as you rightly point out, Larry, they're different. One of the key differences is the mentor relationship is a bit more of a one-way street. So the person being mentored is primarily the beneficiary of that relationship. And the mentor, the person giving the advice and the coaching and so on, really don't get anything out of it other than feeling good for helping someone that they believe in.
Okay.
In reverse, the sponsorship relationship is much more of a two-way street. So there is typically commercial or business benefit for the sponsor in engaging in the sponsorship relationship.
Mm-hmm.
For example, perhaps the person being sponsored is key to the sponsor's succession plan, or perhaps getting the sponsor promoted to partner, managing director, the most senior level positions within the organization is going to unlock a new business opportunity or allow them to kind of penetrate a new area of the market. So much more of a sort of two-way street is kind of one of the key differences there.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that we sometimes see is oftentimes mentors, particularly to diverse talent, identify with the same kind of diversity attributes. So, often you'll see women mentoring other women, or you'll see professionals of color mentoring other professionals of color. We don't see that as commonly in the sponsorship relationship. And
Mm-hmm.
part of the reason for that is because it's quite a thoughtful process assigning a sponsor to someone, to a protege, or whatever term you prefer instead,
Mm-hmm.
because usually or commonly you'll see a majority worker as the sponsor, because it creates a new business relationship for the person being sponsored. It gives the person being sponsored access to their network, to their platforms, and to all of the goodness that comes from being, a part of that sponsorship relationship. So that's another key difference there as well. And they're both really important features of the landscape when you're trying to promote greater levels of diversity in the workforce.
Great, great. Thank you, Steph. You're discussing how bank leaders at all levels can personally make a difference and meaningfully contribute to the advancement of talent development of a diverse workforce is very powerful and provides an opportunity for many leaders to step up in new and different ways. So thank you for that.
My pleasure. It's an important topic. I'm always happy to discuss this.
Great. Again, thank you. So in closing, thank you for joining today's Banker Digest. If you have additional questions for Steph, please see the link in her bio.